All right, looks like we got a lot of people today, so I will do my best to talk to a lot of you to answer your questions. Now, many of you are just listening on the website. Maybe you had trouble connecting with Skype. That's okay. Just listen. You'll still enjoy it, I think. And then we have a lot of people who have called in with Skype, and some of you may want to ask a question, make a comment, all that's good stuff too. So I'll go through the list. Now, let me tell you how you do this real quick. Let me just look, I'm looking at the instructions. So what you do if you want to ask a question, you have to get your little Skype keypad and you press *2. *2. Now when you do *2, what happens is on my computer, I see a display. I'm looking on my computer, and it shows me a lot of names, and I can see on the names, who wants to ask a question. It shows a little hand. So if you want to ask a question, you want to make a comment, *2. I think if you do it twice, then you will remove it. So don't do it too many times, just once. So let me see. We got everybody here. Just looking at the list. Now, if you lose your Skype connection, don't panic. Don't worry. Just call back in. Try again. And I think that's all. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about a general, very, very, very general topic that hopefully will be helpful to you. And then, of course, the main thing, I will go onto our phones here and our Skype phones and let you make a comment or ask a question, and I'll answer your questions as best I can. And I'm sorry if I don't get to everyone, but I'll do my best. So let's begin. And I'm going to actually, one second, I'm going to ask my wife, Tomoe, to listen to the conference sometimes, just to be sure it's working. In fact, I'm going to listen right now myself. You're listening?
Yeah.
Okay, so just let me know if it stops working, okay? Okay, so thanks to my wife for helping me. Sometimes, these computer systems or these programs, sometimes they don't work. Sometimes we have problems, so I want to be sure it's working. Sometimes I remember in the past that sometimes I might talk for 5 or 10 minutes and it's not working. I'm just talking to myself, right? And then we realize, oh no, it's not working, and we have to start again. So anyway, my wife is listening too, to be sure everything is working okay. So first, my general topic. What is the general topic? The general topic is the engine of English, the effortless English engine. This is the big idea of the effortless English system, the biggest and simplest, most simple way to think about it, right? So I usually just say, imagine an engine in a car. Imagine a car, right? So what does a car do? Well, a car moves you from one place to another place, from where you are now to where you want to go. That's the purpose of a car. Well, what's the purpose of a learning system? Same idea, right? The learning system, any learning system, helps you move from where you are now, what you know now, what you can do now, to where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to know. So this is the idea. So some systems, just like some cars, are slow and old and not fun to drive, right? We used to call these clunkers in America. It's slang. Clunker is an old, kind of bad car that breaks a lot. It's slow and ugly and dirty, and right? So you can have a car that goes very slowly. It's not good at taking you where you want to go. You don't enjoy it either. You don't enjoy driving it. Or, of course, you can have like a race car, a Ferrari or something like that, an F1 car, a super fast car that's really fun to drive. You go from here to your destination, to the finish line very quickly, and it's fun too. It's fun to drive a race car. I'm sure it is. It's fun to drive fast. I know that. So this is the metaphor, the basic idea, to think about an English learning system. So, of course, you want an English learning system. Like a car, you want something like a Ferrari, something like an F1, Formula One car, something that's fun to drive, in other words, fun to use, and also something that gets you to your destination, your goal, faster. So it's faster, and it's also more fun, more enjoyable. Those are both important. So we think about this, and we think about an engine, a car. Of course, it has many parts, but let's just imagine maybe two major parts inside of a car. So not worry about the outside, but inside, the part that gives it power, right? That gives the car power. Well, you have an engine, obviously. You have an engine or a motor that creates the power of the car. However, an engine needs one thing. A motor needs something. What does it need? It needs gasoline. It needs fuel. The British call it petrol, right? If you have an engine or a motor, but it has no energy, no gas, no fuel, it will not work. You're not going anywhere. And of course, if you have a can of gasoline or a bottle of gasoline and you light it on fire, nothing's happening. It will burn, but you will not move forward. Nothing's going to happen. So you have to combine them. And the best situation is when you have a powerful motor, a really strong motor, right? A strong engine, and then you use powerful, clean gasoline. And you put them together, and then you go very fast. So this gives you the general basic idea, right? So what does this mean for English and effortless English? Well, these two major parts describe the two parts of our system. The motor, the engine, that's the learning method. We call that the 7 rules. When you join our free email course, that's the first thing we teach you, the 7 rules of learning English. Don't study grammar rules. That's the most popular one. Use the mini story lessons. That's another one. This motor, what it really focuses on is the linguistic, the language part, the key parts to learning a language. Focus on listening and listening to understandable English, fairly easy English, and also reading as well, the same kinds of things. These are all parts of the motor, the language system of effortless English. That's the motor. However, that's not enough. No, that's good, and it's different from most people's systems, most other systems. Much better than using textbooks, much better than going to traditional classes and taking tests, much better than studying grammar rules. However, it's still not quite enough to really succeed at a high level, because you also need the gas, the fuel, the gasoline, right? The petrol. What is that? What is that in learning? That is emotional energy, emotional power, right? It's your psychology, your motivation, your energy, your enjoyment of English, your love and passion for English, your connection to other people, your reasons why you're learning English, your physical energy, right? If you're tired all the time, it's hard to learn, even with a great method, even with a great motor, even with a great system. If you're tired and weak all the time, well, you don't have much energy to learn every day. So it's much more difficult. So this part is very important. And honestly, most other systems, most other learning systems for English, for anything, most schools, they totally forget this part. And it's more than half. I'm sure we'll talk to some of my VIP members, I think, are on the call today, have called in. Certainly I see Charlie, Julie, our new member, Gabby. I have to ask her how she pronounces her name. But anyway, I think one thing they'll tell you is that one big key to success is an excitement, a love for what you're listening to. Not just the pieces of the language, right? Not just getting a test score, not just learning more vocabulary, but actually getting excited about the ideas they are listening to in English. Getting excited about the people they're meeting and communicating with in English. Charlie, for example, one of our members from France, he lived in California. He got excited about the American culture, the California culture, all the people he met, the friends he met, all of that. He was really excited about all of that. And that gave him so much power to improve his English speaking. Probably that was more important than some learning technique he used. Julia, one of our Superstar VIP members, she got really excited about the topics of my Power English lessons, right? Not just the vocabulary, not just the pronunciation and the language parts, but about the ideas. Because in Power English, I teach a lot of ideas about personal success, personal happiness, personal psychology, motivation, all of that stuff. Well, she got excited about the ideas. And when you get really, really, really excited about the ideas and about the people and about the culture, then the English part improves automatically. I've seen this happen so many times. The best learners, the fastest learners, they're not the best, studiers. They are the most excited, the most passionate, the most interested about the ideas they are listening to in English, about the people they're communicating with in English, maybe about traveling somewhere. I mean, everyone has a different thing they get excited about, or maybe many different things, but the excitement is always there. There's a powerful emotional part, and it is so important, and that's why I'm talking about this today, because most coaches, most teachers, and in fact, most students, most learners, just ignore this part. They forget it, right? Because they go to school so much, and they're just so used to focusing on, oh, I need more vocabulary. If I can just learn 500 more words, I'll be great. I just need 6,000 more words, then I can speak great. Yeah, that's not really true. Or if I can only improve my grammar, then everything will be fantastic. But that's not really true. What's really true is that if you can just get more excited about English, if you can just love it more, if you can have more meaningful emotional reasons to use it and listen to it and read it, then the grammar improves automatically. The speaking improves automatically. The vocabulary automatically improves. The emotion comes first. All right, so that's my big main general topic for today. Okay, so? Yeah. So let's go to the phones as usual. So first I'm going to go to Julia, and Julia always calls really early, so I feel like it's I should, I take the calls in the order that they come in. So if someone calls in first, then I answer their call first. I think that's fair. We'll reward the most excited people. And then, I'll ask her how to pronounce it. I want to say Gabby with my American accent. It's probably Gaby or something like that from Jakarta. She's one of our business English conversations members and our new VIP member. She called in second, and then she lost her connection, but she's back, so I'm going to answer her second. And then we'll go down the list. Also, if you're just listening online, if you couldn't use Skype for some reason, you had a problem, you can type a question, a text question in that little box on the website. So what I usually do is first I'll let some members or fans, I'll let them speak and ask a question or make a comment. And then I'll go and I'll read some of the text questions and I'll answer some of those. So you can still put in a question in that little text box. Now I can't do all of them because there's already so many of them, but I'll read them quickly and I'll pick a few that sound interesting that I think a lot of people might want to know about. Okay, so enough of me talking. Let's go to, we got a lot, man, this thing's big. We got a lot of people today. Okay, let's go to Julia first. Let's see, Julia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, thank you. And even though I talked to you many times, I'm always very excited in this moment. I think I'm dying again. And I have to thank you for this great program, all your great programs, because you said I love Power English, and that's true because I started learning Power English. It was my first program, and I was really amazed because it's really different from all the other courses I had always studied in all of my life, because I love English, but I've never learned it before meeting you, actually before finding your courses on the website. And Power English is really my favorite one because I started with it. So I have kind of a strong feeling for this course. But you made a lot of good courses. For example, the VIP course is just a continuation, I think, of Power English. And now I always get excited when I receive your new lessons. It's really a party for me because I can hear your voice. And then people say I don't know, maybe your English is easy, Charlie says that, but I think it's different. It's always different because it's different the way you pronounce things. I find it always different, and I listen to your lessons for 30 days a month, 31 sometimes, or 28 depending on the month. But I find it very interesting from the first day to the last day because I can pay attention first to the topics. Now, for example, I'm really concentrating on what you say and the meaning of all your teachings that are always very deep, deep, deep. But then I can concentrate on the pronunciation, on the intonation, on your breath. I hope you don't filter too many of them because I listen to your breaths too. Just joking. Anyway, another thing I want to say, and then I let my other friends, which are a lot, talk to you. Another thing I want to say is that I really love also all your live events that you organize. They are great, and they made me learn another lesson, very important, because I thought this um, this word on internet was only fake. Maybe it seems a bit far from reality, but then I could meet in person all the friends that I were talking with for 2 years, I think. And it was real. They were really my friends. It was the first time I met them, but I felt a very strong connection with them. And it was real. It wasn't something that was only virtual, was only on my screen in my computer. They were there. They were real persons, and I felt a real feeling of friendship with them. And that was great. Of course, meeting you was fantastic, stratospheric, but I also realized that I had a lot of friends and I didn't know I had them. So now when I meet my friends on the website, I feel a stronger feeling, even though I have never met them, because I know that this is a way to know the person maybe from the best part of their soul. I don't know, something like that.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Jay, for everything you did for this community. I feel we are a great, strong community of friends. And that's all for what you did, because you created a strong system, a very strong and supportive system, and a strong community of friends. Thank you, Jay. You are great. You are my key.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A big kiss to Tomoe.
Yeah, she's right here. We'll see you again.
Yeah. Okay, I hope so. Really so.
Bye for now. I'll talk to you probably
Bye.
2 more times this month. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. See you.
Okay.
Again. Thank you for everything. You are my
Bye-bye.
forever. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Julia, one of our, fair to say, call her a superstar member of our VIP program, and I think she's done every course we have. So there's a couple things I noticed as she's talking, basically pretty much what I was just saying. If you notice, what did she talk about? Did she talk about all the vocabulary she memorized every day? No. Did she learn vocabulary? Yes, she did, but what did she focus on? I mean, she said, I like to focus on the ideas and the kind of deeper meaning of the lessons. She did say she focuses too on sort of the rhythm and the pronunciation and things like that. That's also good. If you get bored, you're listening to the lessons and you're repeating them again and again. Maybe after a while you get bored just listening. Okay, yes, I understand what AJ's saying. Well, then you can change your focus and instead focus on my pronunciation. Copy my pattern, my rhythm of speaking. There's lots of things you can do. The other thing she mentioned that she's excited about is our community. So again, it's connecting with real people and communicating and making real friendships. I mean, that's why we're doing English, right? To real connections and real communication. You know, friendships or in business or whatever, science or whatever you're doing it for, you're doing it to communicate with real people. It's not just a list of words and grammar rules. It's communication with real people in the real world. And, I just met Julia in Europe. We had an event in Barcelona, a live event, and lots of our members, especially our VIP members, came to Spain, and they all could meet each other. And it was really fantastic, and what she's saying is absolutely true, that we already had some connections and friendships online, especially in our VIP group. We have a very nice online community, a nice website, and we make really good connections. It's a very, very positive community. It's even better, though, to meet in person, face to face, and then you realize, oh, yes, these people are my friends. They really are great people. And certainly I could feel that, too, in Barcelona. And that's why I do the live events. That's why I like to do seminars and rallies and events in different countries. So you can, sure, I can meet you and face to face. I like that much better. It's great for me. And then also, so you can meet each other and make friends more and get a deeper connection and more of a community. In fact, before I go to Gabby, let me just say that I could basically have two kinds of events I do. And I have two different names for them. One I call a seminar. And a seminar is more formal, maybe. I don't know, formal is not a good word because we're kind of crazy, but have a lot of fun. But it's more focused on teaching the effortless English system. It's more of training, I would say. So I'm up there, I'm teaching about the engine of English. I'm doing mini story lessons live. With our more advanced seminars, we maybe do one full day or 2 days or a whole week, where every day we're doing lots and lots of lessons, and it's really intensive training. And usually some company somewhere in the world will sponsor that. And for that, I have fees. The companies will pay me a fee to bring me to their location, and then I do the training. And the company charges tickets. I don't know how much they charge. They're up to them. So they can charge $10,000 per ticket or $10 per ticket. It doesn't matter to me. But the company pays my fee, and this is more of kind of a business type of thing. The other kind of live event I do, I call it a rally now. That's my word. Rally is kind of has the idea of a party. And a rally is an event where I come and, yes, I might do some training. But it's a little more relaxed. It's more of a social event. This is what we did in Spain recently. So this is more to help members connect with each other. At a rally, some of the members get up on the stage and they might do an activity. Julia did an activity at our rally, a game. Many of our members did speeches or activities at this rally. And of course, I did too. I did a mini story, and I taught a kind of a psychology motivation lesson also. So the rallies are usually not organized by a company. A rally is usually a fan club, a group of Effortless English fans or members decide, they want to bring me to their location, and by themselves they organize the event. They find a location. They do all the work to make it happen. Usually these events are not for profit, so we charge money to cover the cost. Sometimes I lose money on these. I lost money in Spain because my travel expenses were quite expensive, but it doesn't matter. I do it to connect with people. So that's the other kind of event we do, a rally. Usually those are smaller as well. Okay, let's go. Speaking of Gabby, I've been talking to Gabby about doing a seminar, a big event in Jakarta, Indonesia. She's trying to connect me with event planners. I also have we have a member named Shri in Jakarta, Indonesia, who she hasn't been active recently. I hope to connect with her again to see if she'd like to help organize a rally in Jakarta. But we'll see. So let's talk to Gabby and see what she has to say. Hello, Gabby. How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Hey,
Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
Relax.
Yeah, I'm so nervous. I don't know you're gonna pick me. Oh my God.
Well, you were the second caller, so I have to pick you second.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
But
So hey, first tell me how to pronounce your name correctly.
you're right. Gaby, Aiton.
Gaby,
yes, sir.
Gaby.
Gaby. Yes,
Gaby.
yes.
Gaby.
Gaby.
Is that right, Gaby? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
My biggest problem is I'm always nervous whenever I have to start talking to people. So I don't know. The last few minutes when Julia started speaking, I'm thinking what I should talk because I know a few minutes later it's my turn. So I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited, sir. I can be your student. I know you. I'm gonna be honest. I know you from internet. Your free lesson. I don't know. Maybe someone through your lesson, and I get it free. And then I was trying to search you, go to your website, and I'm very excited because you're the great teacher, and that's why I'm a part of your VIP member, and I'm very excited. I just joined the web maybe today in this morning, and very happy because many people the minute I joined, they started to talk to me and offer they help, and it's really helpful for me, and I'm not nervous to talk to them, but I'm always nervous to talk to them directly like now, so I don't know right now.
Your English sounds really good. You're speaking great. Yes. You're talking like crazy, and your pronunciation's really good, and your ideas are clear. So maybe you're nervous, but you're communicating. You're communicating just fine.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Thank you very much, sir. I started talking to Julia a few minutes ago, and maybe she could see me very nervous, and if you can see me right now, I'm I don't know. I don't know, because this is the first time I'm talking to people directly. And about the seminar in Jakarta, I'm already be friends with Jensri. Jensri, I think her name, and she's wonderful. I think if you pick her to be your agent, if you pick her to organize your event, it's gonna be better maybe, because she's the one that know Effortless English longer than the ones that I offered to you. But I'm very happy and excited, exactly because I can see there are people from Jakarta like me, and I'm not alone. So I started talking to them about the event in Jakarta, and if like you said before, if we can organize. I already thought a few days before how if there are many members from Indonesia or Jakarta in Effortless English, maybe we can organize an event together. But because I don't know yet, I didn't know yet at the time, so I offered you about another event organizer. But if there are students like Gentry and maybe I don't know, maybe many other, and include me, it's gonna be very excited to organize your event together, I think.
Ah, fantastic. Well, it was great talking to you, Gaby. You did fantastically well. I'll answer your question about nervousness in a minute. I'm going to put you on hold now, so nice to talk to you.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll talk to you again later this month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Gaby. Oh, very nice. Okay, so let's see, a couple things. Oh, one, she's saying that maybe some of the Effortless English members and fans can organize an event in Jakarta, Indonesia themselves. That would be great. As I mentioned, we already have a member, a long-time member named Jing Shri. And I didn't forget about her. I hope she knows that. I already had her in mind to do a rally. I still was assuming or thinking she was going to be the one to organize that if she wanted to. But I also started thinking of maybe doing an actual seminar, more something really big, like 500 people or 1,000 people. And for that size, we probably need a experienced event organizer. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Shri and see if she can do it. Anyway, I want to go to Jakarta. One of the reasons I wanted to go to Jakarta, honestly, personal reasons. I visited Indonesia the first time 2 years ago, and it was really just, I loved the people there, just so nice and warm, and I mean, it's a beautiful country too. It's just the nature, everything is great, but the people especially, I was very impressed how friendly they were and kind, and my friends and I, Kristen and Joe, we love Indonesia. We're probably going again this winter again. Even if we don't do an event, we'll just go for fun. So anyway, we'll be going to Indonesia. I'd love to do an event in Jakarta. Also, may do an event in English Village Pare, something like that. We have a guy named AZ there who wanted to do an event. I'm not sure if he still does. I haven't talked to him in a while, but if so, maybe we'll do something. At least I might just visit this place called English Village. It sounds quite interesting. All right, let me go to the text questions really quick. And let me look at the questions people have typed. Probably lots. Yes, oh my goodness, lots. Okay, let me see if I can read really quickly. Oh, one thing, I had to answer her question about nerves. I forgot. She said she gets nervous when she speaks. Well, first of all, it's normal to get nervous speaking to, if it's a difficult situation. So, for example, she's getting ready to talk to me in this call. She knows people everywhere in the world are listening. I think it's normal to feel nervous for that situation, or to stand in front of a group like public speaking, or a job interview, or to give a presentation in English. Those are all normal situations to feel nervous. When I started, I felt nervous before speaking to a group of people. Sometimes still even I get a little bit nervous, but not usually. Now I'm more excited. But it's kind of the same energy. So what I find is that the way to use nervousness, you can't avoid it, okay? It's going to happen. But I use it. I just think of it as energy, right? If I'm nervous, why? It's because I'm usually inside my heart's beating faster. I'm breathing a little heavier, right? And my mind is working faster. So that's the physical part of nerves, feeling nervous. So what you do is you have to take that physical energy and you have to focus it in a positive way. Because if you focus on bad things, like, oh, maybe I'll make a mistake, oh, what will I say, oh, people will think I'm stupid, then that physical energy becomes negative and you get worried, and then that can cause a lot of problems. It can make you speak badly, or you make your body shake, all kinds of bad stuff. Or you can take that same energy, you're kind of shaky, your heart's beating, you're breathing faster, you feel all this energy, and you put it in a positive way. And usually that means focusing on the outside. It means we focus on, how can I help these people? How can I connect better with this person? How can I care more about the person I'm talking to? How can I be more helpful to them? I also focus when I'm doing like a public speaking, how can I be more energetic? If I have energy, I'm not going to try to be still and quiet, right? Because then I'm trying to control the nervous energy, and that's kind of negative. It doesn't work. So instead, I move, I jump, I shout, I have a lot of energy when I'm speaking. So the energy goes in a very positive way. That's my quick answer. So use your body can be helpful with nerves. Walk around, move. Don't just sit there. All right, so let's answer some of these text questions. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this one, I answered this one on Twitter, but I think it's kind of funny. It's not really funny, but I think it's funny. Wayne says, whenever I try to speak in English, my friends will laugh at my poor English skills. This makes me feel bad. And my answer on Twitter was, find nicer friends. But, honestly, that is my answer, because, if your friends are laughing, they think it's cool to make fun of you. Okay, one joke or something is not a big deal. But if they're really making you feel bad and they're hurting your confidence, maybe you don't completely get rid of them as your friends, but maybe you need to find some other friends who are going to be more positive. I mean, this is why we have in Effortless English, in our VIP program, but even just generally, we have something called the code, which is how we treat each other. And the third part of the code is we show each other we care. We show people we care, right? We don't laugh at them when they make mistakes. No, we encourage them. We help them. We show them that, we care. So my answer to Wayne would be, find nicer people, find more encouraging people, and speak English around them, to them. People who are not going to laugh at you. If it's the same. What if you're learning public speaking, right? First time, and you stand in front of a group, and of course you're not going to be very good. And then at the end, everybody laughs at you. Ha, ha, ha. Well, then you'll be scared to do public speaking again because you'll feel even worse. That's terrible. right? My first public speech was terrible. But luckily, the class I took, the teacher was super positive, and he just found the good parts. He said, AJ, you have a lot of energy. You're very enthusiastic. That's great. He made me feel really good about my first speech, and then I wanted to do it more and keep improving. So find better people to be around, especially when you're using English or practicing it. Okay. Another good question I answered on Twitter, but I'll answer now too. Should we use slang while speaking? I'll let Charlie give his answer to this, because he actually can use slang skillfully, but my general answer to most people is no, don't try. So my answer is yes, you should understand it, especially the group that you're talking to. So, if you're doing business in English, do you need to understand business idioms and common slang used by everybody and the business people you're talking to? Yes, you need to understand it. Should you try to use it yourself? I generally think no. Don't do it. Don't try. It's hard to do. It's so difficult to know. You really have to. It's very cultural. So to use slang in a good way, that is correct, that is just the right way to do it. It's difficult, and you don't need it. You can just use standard English to communicate your ideas, and that's really best when you're speaking. So understand it, yes. Use it, generally, no. Because even pronunciation, I'll give you an example of this. My friend Watt is Thai. He understands English very well. His speaking is very good now. And occasionally he'll try using kind of slang because he's around these people who use a lot of slang. But when he uses it, it's not quite right. Like the pronunciation isn't quite right. Like the word shit, for example. This is like a bad word when you're angry. Like, it can be used in so many ways. And this is the hard part, right? This word, depending how you pronounce it, and depending on the situation, it could mean you're angry, or it could mean that's great. I mean, it could mean totally different things, just on a little bit of a different pronunciation. So just avoid it. Understand it, but don't try to use it. Okay, Camille says, where can we find a good source of scientific research about language learning? Well, I'm not, a researcher, but I generally tell people to start with Dr. Stephen Krashen, Krashen. Dr. Stephen Krashen. He is a researcher. He's a PhD at University of Southern California, I believe. He certainly is a big expert on language learning, and his ideas match mine. In fact, I was influenced by Dr. Krashen a lot. So that's who I say. Okay, let's go to the phones next. So we actually have Nasir, let's see. Oh, Nasir, I believe. Nasir from Kabul, Afghanistan. Hello.
Hello.
Kabul. Hey, how you doing? Is it Nasir? Is that how you pronounce your name?
My name is Nasser Hafiz. I'm from Kabul.
Nasser. Okay.
Okay. I'm very happy to talk with you, and I feel a little nervous and not a bit normal. Okay, I'm very happy to join the Effortless English, and it was my best luck that I could research about Effortless English and could join the Effortless English, and it is the magic program that improved my English in less than 1 month, that I could pass my interview in English language. Here in our country, maybe some member may know about that it was more than 3 decades of war in Afghanistan, and here the international forces came, and now here is a united administration, and all the UN countries are here, and they are trying to make our military forces, and they want to make our administration, and they have make internal administration for Afghanistan. So here was a very need for English, and all the people wanted to learn English, and I was also from those people that I was very excited to learn English and to find a better job for myself. So I joined the Effortless English, and it make my dreams true, and I am very happy right now, and I am very happy to talk with you.
Oh, no, sir. Thank you so much. What a great story. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much for you, and thank you for your time that you're giving for us and for VIP members, and I am very respecting you, and hope that from Afghanistan you have a lot of students, and a lot of people may know you in here. It is I want to make people very I want to make people to join your program, because it's very interesting, and it is very great program, and it's a medical program. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nasser.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Wow. That's our first call from Afghanistan, I believe. Thank you. And that's a great story. I'm so happy. I really love to hear when our, members tell me stories about their success stories, and because it helps, it motivates me. In fact, that was one of the text questions, what motivates me? Well, I think that's what motivates me most, is hearing from you a success story, that the lessons helped you or changed your life in some way in the better. Not just, oh, I learned some more vocabulary words, but that, like, you actually learned to communicate and you're using it and it changed your life in some way. That's what motivates me and makes me happy. And when I hear stories like that, like Nasser's story, then it gets me excited to do more. I'm like, great, I'm helping people, this is working. So then I want to record more lessons and do more things and have more events and meet more people. And so thank you very much. And I'd love to come to Afghanistan someday. Hopefully it's possible. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to check another text question, and then we'll go to Sebastian, who is in Germany, it looks like. 1 second, Sebastian. I'm just going to read a few more text questions. How can I learn English for academic purposes? That's a good question. First, I would say learn general English, which by that I mean learn basic conversational English first. And this is exactly how Americans learn it, right? They don't learn academic English first and then try to speak, right? Which is what happens in school. A lot of times people learning all this academic English, but they can't have a regular conversation yet. It's backwards. So I'm not against academic English if you need it, but learn conversational English first. Be really good at that first, and then for academic English, then what you do is basically what you do is you read and read and read lots of academic books and articles. Not research articles. Those are impossible to read even for native speakers. I mean, you might start with reading just things in your field. So if you want to go get a master's in business, for example, well, then you start reading business books and listening to business audio books and reading the Wall Street Journal and business magazines and reading books on management and leadership or whatever your area of business is. And that's what you do. You focus on learning that topic in English. And using both audio and text both. If you have strong general English first, that's actually not so difficult. But if you try to do that first, if you try to learn academic English first, then it's going to feel very difficult. So general English first, then. Okay, what motivates me? When do you come to Serbia? Well, I will come to Serbia as soon as a Effortless English fan club in Serbia organizes an event for me there, or a company in Serbia sponsors me. So that's always my answer when people say, when will you come to my country? And the answer is always when I have a good organizer in your country. I can't organize these events from the other side of the world. I have to have someone locally, in your location who will find the place and, make sure, do the registration and work with us and do all of that stuff. Make sure we have a sound system. There's lots of things that have to be organized. So that can be done by a company, and it can be kind of a business thing, or it can be done by a local fan group or member group, and either one. So if you do that, I will come. Okay, and I'll answer one more question because it's so common, and then I will go to the phones. Okay, Lumiere Rouge in Saudi Arabia asks, is it true what is always said, and this is true, that a native-like accent after adulthood is difficult or impossible? Difficult, yes, but I'll tell you why. Impossible, no, definitely not. Not impossible. So here's the deal. So some people, some linguists even, say that it's impossible for an adult to speak like a native speaker. So for example, an adult, let's say someone from Mexico moves to America, speaks no English, and they're an adult. They're 22 years old, and or even 18, and they learn English. Could they sound exactly like an American? Or at least very, 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 very close, almost exactly? The answer is yes, and we know it's yes because we know people have done it. There are people who do it in many languages, not just English. Is it difficult? Yes, it's difficult and we know because most adults don't do it. So the question is not, there's no problem in your brain that prevents this. It's really more of a psychological thing. It's more about your identity. See, most people, most adults, they have all these psychological worries, they feel like if they try to copy an American exactly, for example, oh, it sounds weird, they're exaggerating too much, that's not who I am, I'm Mexican, I can't speak exactly like an American because then I won't be Mexican anymore. This is kind of what happens in their unconscious. They kind of hold on a little bit to their old identity, so it's difficult for them so they keep that accent. So I think it's much more psychological. Children don't have this problem so much. They want to fit in with the local children. So they don't want to sound different. So there's a different psychology happening. So if you can create kind of a separate identity, a second identity, like Superman, or Spider-Man, you got two identities. Clark Kent and Superman, if you can have your American identity and your own country identity, and they can be very different, yes, you can learn to speak native-like. So when you speak, let's say you want an American accent, well, when you speak English, then you try to sound American, but you're also, there's a lot of cultural stuff. There are beliefs that are different. Americans think differently than people from Mexico, for example. They communicate in a different way. They move their body in a different way when they talk. There are a lot of things that go with this. So give it a try. Let's go to Sebastian. Okay, Sebastian from Germany, I believe. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
So I'm a little bit nervous.
Don't worry.
I think I have the same problem like the members who spoke before, because you always consider the crowd who's listening to you, and then you are getting a little bit nervous. So I try to compose myself, but it's not really working at the moment. So
well, just imagine it's just me. Just imagine nobody else is out there.
Nobody else, of course. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for all your inspiring lessons which you published. I started with Effortless English 2.5 months ago, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy all the interesting topics. There were a lot of topics which I already knew a lot about before. For example, the nutrition topics and so on. But there are so many new topics for me, like Tony Robbins and so on. And I bought his CDs now, and I'm listening to his content as well, and it's really, really interesting.
Oh,
so
great.
I want to thank you for all this content, and it's really improving my life.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
And I will try to apply as much as possible to my life of all these interesting hints and topics. And I have one question for you about a specific lesson of the Power English pack, because that's the lesson pack which I bought, and I'm currently working with that. And it's not a criticism, so please don't get it wrong. It's just a question, because I was just wondering if there's a grammar mistake in the lesson. So I know
there possibly could be.
Yeah. I know we shouldn't study grammar, I know, but it sounded wrong for me, so I just wanted to ask.
Sure, go ahead.
It's a attractor factor lesson. It's with the cat Eve, who did forbid her cats from eating mice and so on. And it's about the mini story, and you always ask the question with did and the normal verb, and then usually you use the past tense in the answer. That's my experience from all the lessons. Yeah. And you always said, why did she forbid, and so on, and then you said she forbid her cats or her kittens from eating mice. And I was wondering, because I learned in school forbade as a past tense, and so I'm wondering now if it is wrong or not. That's my question.
No, well, it could be wrong. Let's go to old Google. Let's check it out. Actually,
yeah, I checked my dictionary. And it says forbade.
Well, what happens too? One of the okay.
And then I thought, okay, you said it so often, it can't be a mistake. And I was wondering if it is a mistake or if it is no mistake and there's an exception. I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way: that is not the past tense; that is the present tense. So here's what happens a lot of times with the not a lot, but occasionally this will happen. When I'm doing the mini stories and asking the questions, I'll be let's say in the past tense. But actually, it's kind of unnatural, probably in German too, I don't know, to just be talking in one tense all the time. So sometimes I will suddenly just slip into the present tense. And, so I'll be saying, he did this, did he go, where did he go? And then suddenly I'll just, I don't know, this happens in conversations naturally, but I'll just say, so anyway, next he goes to the store and then he does this, and I'll just kind of switch it into the present because it feels, there's a different kind of emotional feeling if you're telling a story looking at the past, or you're telling a story happening now, there's a little more energy. So sometimes I just slipped. That was a mistake on my part, probably. I just, I suddenly just jumped to the present.
Okay.
So sorry about that. Thanks for catching it.
No, it's no problem. Okay.
We should give you a prize or something for catching that.
Oh, no. I think it's very common. It's very common that you always switch between the tenses. And for example, I know a few people who are learning German at the moment, and they always ask me about some rules, and of course I don't know them because it's my native language. And then they try to speak according to the rules, and it sounds strange for people who are native speakers because they usually don't speak that way.
Yes, indeed. I find the same thing that there's sometimes especially with the point of view stories or the main stories, I'm talking in a certain way to help you, to give you guys more repetition in a certain tense. But it's not necessarily how I wouldn't necessarily exactly talk that way. If I'm telling a story to a friend, it would tend to be more loose, and it's quite normal sometimes telling a story like with friends that you might start in the past and then you jump to the present and then you jump back to the past again, and these things kind of happen in a more real conversation, a natural conversation. But in Power English, it's more for intermediate level. So and even with VIP, the mini stories especially, I try to keep them mostly in one tense, just to give you guys more and more repetition. But yeah, so good for you though. You caught a mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Good talking to you, Sebastian. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so Sebastian caught a mistake. I made a mistake. Can you believe it? I made a grammar mistake. An English teacher. Oh my God, you must fire me. It's a good point though, and I think I guess I could go and we could find that mistake and change it. It's not really. I wouldn't call it a mistake because it's still correct English in a sense. I just changed to a different verb tense. So it's not. I didn't use the past form of the verb forbade. He forbade him to do it. Means he said he could not do it. But I flipped over. I did this recently in a VIP lesson. I was doing the point of view stories, and I was trying to stay in one tense, and I just naturally shifted to another one. But the point is that grammar is not this rule book from God. Okay, grammar kind of is just this kind of natural. It's organic, meaning grammar is just how most people agree to speak, and what is most common, and how we all agree to communicate in a language. And it changes over time. In fact, in the English language, English grammar has changed over time. Your language has changed over time, the grammar of it. And so, there's a kind of a natural way that this happens in real conversations, and it's not the same as what we learn in textbooks and all these rules. So, of course, do I usually use correct grammar? Yes, like 99% of the time. But, occasionally a little mistake comes in, or I switch to something and don't even realize it. Do I cry and worry about it and, oh my God? No, I just keep going. You do the same thing in your language. You make mistakes sometimes when you're speaking. Maybe you pronounce a word wrong or something, or you make a little grammar mistake. And you just keep going. You just keep speaking. get all worried about it. So often I will leave these things in my lessons. We don't go back and change them, because I want people to see that it's not about some perfect, everything is exact and there's all these rules. In fact, in real language, these things change. In a real language, I would never just speak in the past tense about, for 10 straight minutes. Never. I don't think I've probably ever done that. I'm starting to past and then I switch and I start to say some other things in the present, because there's not one correct verb tense. There's not one correct one. Some people will say this all the time. Should I use the past or the present in this situation? Or should I use the past or the present perfect? And it's like, well, they're both fine. They're both right. It's just one gives a different feeling than the other. This is why we call it point of view, right? When you use simple past, it's your point of view. You're looking from now back into the past. You're looking at it as if it already happened. It's all finished. But you could also talk about the same exact event and use the present perfect. And now you change your view a little bit. Now you're talking as if it's stretched out over time more instead of just ended completely. Or you could even tell that same exact story, even if it happened in the past, even if it happened 10 years ago. You could still tell the story in the tense, because it gives a feeling of, it gives more an emotional feeling in English sometimes. If you use the present, it's as if it's happening now. Then she goes and she sees the monster. Ah! Right? Even if it happened in the past, you could still tell it in the present to give a different point of view, a different emotional feeling. So there's not in the textbooks they'll try to tell you, give you this. Sometimes English teachers, you must pick one and it's the right way. No, each one has a different feeling. You just must understand how the grammar works, what the meaning is, the feeling is. Then you choose the one that feels right. In the beginning, you can just follow what all the other speakers are doing when you're in conversation. It happens naturally. You don't need to think about this too much. All right, let's do one more text question and then go to Charlie. Telling that I am feeling my improvement slowly in the first semester. Let's please help me. Okay, so Tabriz says, started Power English, and I guess the progress in the beginning felt fast, and now he feels like he or she feels like the progress is slower. First of all, I think there's an actual lesson in Power English called plateaus, and this is a normal part of learning anything. You're learning guitar, you're learning golf, you're learning swimming, whatever. You go through periods where, for a while, you're improving very fast, really, really fast. Wow, it seems great, it feels fantastic, and then you hit a plateau. A plateau is like a flat part, where suddenly you're still doing all the same things, but now you feel like you're not improving much anymore. And then that's frustrating, of course. What's happening? Well, this is normal. It happens in anything you learn. It's a normal part of your brain, where your brain just takes a lot of information. And when you have a plateau, you are still learning. In fact, your brain is still getting the information, but you're just not able to use it yet, right? So something different is happening in your brain during those times. So it can be frustrating, I know. You need patience, but keep doing what you're doing, because then what happens is then eventually, boom, you'll shoot up again. You'll find you're improving very quickly again. And then you'll hit another plateau, and then you'll go up again, and then a plateau, and then up, and then a plateau, and up. It's like a steps. This is just how it works. I don't like it either, when I'm learning things. I hit a plateau sometimes. My improvement goes more slowly. I also get frustrated. Just got to keep going. Okay, let's go to Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Good. So you wanted me to talk about slang, right?
Yeah, that would be great. I think you of any of our members have had the most, I think, experience with it.
All right, I'll try to say what I think about that. So it really is a psychological thing, because when you're using slang, I think if you don't use slang in your native language a lot, you maybe don't want to use slang in English, because it's not going to be natural. You want it to be as natural as possible, right? So if you swear a lot in your native language, then go ahead and have fun.
Good idea.
Like I do. But you also have to know that some people don't like people use slang. Some people are more uptight. So if you're having a job interview, you're not going to sound great if you say, "Hey man, what's up?" Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you're around friends and they're pretty casual and all, well, then it's probably okay to try and use a little bit of slang now and then. But most of the time, you just want to stick to regular English. So that's what I think. Yeah.
That's great. That's a great advice. Yeah, and it's a good point too. That if you don't use it in your own language much, then you're really forcing your. It's not going to be natural if you're trying to do it
Yeah,
in English.
exactly.
It's even worse.
Yeah, you were talking about, yeah, having greater goals for learning a language, other than just learning a lot of vocabulary and grammar rules and stuff. That really is the key, because if you're just learning a bunch of rules and all that, I was going to say the S word. See,
You go ahead, because you like to learn slang. So give them some examples.
If you learn a bunch of rules and boring technical terms, you're not going to have fun. And after a while, yeah, you'll just drop that thing completely. You'll just say, "Oh, it's boring. I'll just go and watch TV," as opposed to truly learning a language and communicating with people from all around the world and reading books that are not available in your own language, and watching movies, listening to the radio. And that's really what you want to do with a language. You want to educate yourself, learn about many topics. For example, I've learned about guitar. I've been playing guitar for let's say maybe 2.5 years now, and I started learning guitar in English. So in the process, I've been learning a lot of musical words, a lot of vocabulary related to music, without feeling that I was studying. I never felt like I was studying musical vocabulary. It just came out naturally. I started using words like scales and licks and riffs and guitar neck and pickups and stuff. I just know these words because I've learned them unconsciously. And it's the same with martial arts and fitness and all the things I do. I never studied the words. I never opened a vocabulary book and looked at a list and said, "Oh, okay, so this is how you say it in French. This is the English translation. Try to memorize." No, that's a lot of bull crap.
You can say it, it's okay.
So yeah, you want to have greater goals. Greater goals is definitely the key to learning any language, I think. And then, sure, you can learn a few techniques to tweak some things in your speech, like how to use your voice in a more powerful manner, how maybe to improve your accent and stuff like that. But more importantly, you want to focus on things that you want to learn in a foreign language. If you like American culture, maybe you want to read books about the West, about the gold rush, whatever, But just do something with the language. Don't just study it. So that's what I have to say.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Charlie. Good talking to you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so fantastic. I think everything he just said, follow it, basically. So he ended it very well. Just, use the language. Don't just study it. That could be a motto, I think, for us. And he really talked about this idea of focusing on these areas in his life that he was interested in. So he's learned a lot of musical English vocabulary. Did he get a book called English Music Vocabulary and memorize a big list of English words about music? No. But what he did do is he was doing something, learning to play the guitar, and he did it with guitar books in English. So he just naturally, unconsciously learned all these music and guitar words in English. Didn't need to study them at all. Didn't try to memorize any of them. But he learned them. Why? Because he's doing this activity, and he needed those words. He needed them because he needed to understand so he could learn guitar, so he could play guitar. When you need the vocabulary, you really remember it. When you don't need it, you're just trying to memorize it, then it's much easier to forget it. This is why, in Power English, for example, I do all these topics that for me are interesting. I can't guarantee that they're interesting for everyone in the world, but I try to pick topics that are very interesting and useful to you in your life, generally, not just for English. My goal, in fact, as an English coach, I want you to be so focused on the ideas and the information that you forget about the English. You forget you're reading English. You forget you're listening to English because the ideas are interesting to you. And when that happens, when you focus mostly on the ideas and the information and the topics, then the learning becomes more effortless. That's why we call it effortless English. It's not that you don't do any work. You do. You have to put in lots and lots of hours. But it feels more fun when you're learning English by playing the guitar. That doesn't feel like so much work if you love the guitar. If you love, I use this example, if you love motorcycles, well then go find some English books about motorcycles, especially maybe about American motorcycles like Harley Davidsons, right? That are hard to find in other countries or that are more expensive. You know, Harley Davidson is a very American kind of company. It's part of American culture. Get magazines and books about Harley Davidson, business books about the Harley Davidson company. Find podcasts and audios about Harley Davidson and riding Harleys and all the different motorcycles. Do all that, you will learn a lot of vocabulary. And you'll learn a lot of general vocabulary too, not just motorcycle vocabulary. You'll learn a lot of English. And by focusing on this thing you love, it will feel effortless. It'll be fun. And maybe it's martial arts for you. Maybe it's movies. Maybe it's one actor or actress that you love. Maybe it's motivation and success and psychology, which is what we put a lot of stuff in Power English. I don't know what it is for you, but you find that and focus on that. That is a much faster way than getting a bunch of vocabulary books or grammar books. And you can hear Charlie speaking excellent. This is the thing I always notice. The people who focus on this, like Julia, like Charlie, they end up being the best speakers. And they have a lot more fun while they're learning too. All right, let's look at another text question and then to Jaromir. 1 second. Asking me a tennis question. What is the secret of Novak Djokovic that he plays the best tennis in the world, in your opinion? I have no idea because I'm not much of a tennis fan. So, I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I'm guessing he focused a lot on mastery and really mastering the fundamentals of tennis, but I honestly can't say because I just don't know much about tennis at all. Okay, and one more. Martin says, what's the easiest way to understand the passive voice in English? Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion about the passive voice. It sounds weird to say about a language, but this is one of my least favorite parts of English because it's overused. It's used too much. And why is it overused? Because academics, schools love the passive voice. Corporations like it too. The passive voice is a very weak way of communicating. You can see it by just the name, passive voice. The passive voice eliminates who's doing the action, right? So you could say, he hit the ball, right? So then you know who's doing the action. He, the man hit the ball. So we know we hit the person and we know who's doing the action. Or you can just say, the ball was hit, right? That's passive. Who hit the ball? We don't know. The ball was hit. By who? By whom? I don't know. It's this kind of weak, indirect way of especially a lot of people use it in writing. It's a horrible way of writing. It's weak writing. I think basically just use direct language. Speak directly. Write, especially when you write. Don't use passive voice, please. It's horrible writing. Your professors, if you're in school, your professors may try to force you to do it. But otherwise, there's just not a lot of need for it. It's just better to speak in a more direct way with a subject. So that's my opinion on passive voice. If you really want to learn it, I don't know, read a bunch of academic articles. You'll be drowning in the passive voice. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Jaromir. Jaromir, hello.
Oh, hello.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Okay. Hello, AJ. Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you are all fine. And I just wanted to thanks first that you gave us the opportunity to meet very often. And I just wanted to ask you one question because many topics were discussed here, and it could be interesting to develop or to get around all the topics. Each of one was very interesting. But one question: what is the biggest dream, AJ? I mean, because I know that you are very generous, you are very successful when teaching people and very admired. But I think I feel that you also have a big dream, like almost all of us. And I would like to know what is the biggest dream?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm going to put you on mute here, and then I'll answer your question. Okay, thank you. It's a good question, Jaromir.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, so what is my biggest dream? My wife is making us. What are you trying to tell me? I don't know what she's saying. I would say my biggest dream, the thing I think about a lot, is creating a worldwide, an international community. First of all, of course, for learning, specifically for learning English. And this is starting to happen, as we're meeting right now, as I've met people in person, in Barcelona. This is the beginnings of it. I think we're just beginning. Some clubs and are starting in different places, Effortless English clubs, just groups of people. But I want to make that stronger and stronger, so that we really have this powerful international community of learning, independent learning. And of course, to go beyond that, then, I've got this mission in, my personal mission, and it's also the mission of our VIP program of Effortless English. And my mission is, to explore new opportunities for growth. Growth means learning. So that means I always want to keep learning all the time. To bring confidence, vitality, and happiness to people all over the world. Confidence, right? I want to help people feel stronger. A lot of people feel nervous or afraid in their life in different areas. I want to help people feel stronger and happier in their life. Vitality means a feeling more alive, more energy, more alive. I want to help people feel more alive. Happiness, of course, you understand that. I want to help people be more happy in their life, all over the world. And finally, the last part of my mission, to boldly go where I have never gone before, where we have never gone before, means to keep exploring new ideas, new places. So when I put all that together, for me, it's about building this kind of movement, this whole community around the world, and changing the way people learn. Because I really don't like that this whole education system, it's the same everywhere in the world, and it's kind of based on a factory, right? You go into this class, you sit in little rows, there's some person comes in at the front, and you have to do these boring exercises and studying all this stuff. And I don't like that, especially for adults. That's just crazy. It's crazy for kids even. And now we're getting more and more tools, and I think that people can be self-learners. All of you listening right now, you're self-learners, independent learners. But we don't have to be alone. Just because we're self-learners, we're independent, we can also be connected together in communities. And starting with English, but then we can help each other, be happier, be more confident, be more successful, feel more alive, in all parts of our lives. And really, that's my big purpose and vision. That's what the real purpose of our VIP program is. That's what the real purpose of Effortless English is. This is why I love doing the live events, because there's helping to build the real community. So we start online, but then we can also start meeting face to face. And it's not just about English. It's about, sharing ideas. And if someone's having trouble, they're feeling bad, then the other people in the community help them and support them and encourage them. It's about helping people live their dreams. Whatever your dream is, I want you to live it. And I want to give you psychology tools, English tools, beliefs, anything I can, so that you can go and then find it and make that dream happen. So that's my big vision. And, we've taken a couple steps in that direction. There's a long way to go. Okay. I'm going to look at the text questions again, and then we'll go to Milky Way. This is from Saudi Arabia, one of our VIP members. And no one remembers names, figures that affect impression. Okay, this is another common question, so I'll answer it. Yana says, happy member of the VIP. Happy to be in the VIP program. Is it effective and productive to speak with only with non-native speakers learning English? I think it would be better to invite some native speakers and contribute to the forum. Yeah, that could be. Actually, that's something I've thought about, is having some native speakers. I have mixed feelings about this, honestly. I I think we need to focus on communication. And, you get lots of, when you listen to me, you're listening to a native speaker. There's also now online, if you want to get a variety of voices, there's so many podcasts and audios out there in English, speakers with every kind of accent from every country and every age. You can get plenty of input, and that's the big thing you need. So when it comes time to talk, just to practice your talking, it's totally fine. Chat with members. They don't have to be native speakers. Just communicate. Focus on the communication. Focus on the human connection. If they're a native speaker from America, for example, or they're from another country, it doesn't really matter. Just connect with them. Can you learn to speak really well? Just listening to lots of native speakers, but then actually just speaking to people from other countries who are also learning? Yes, you can learn to speak very, very well, because that input, that listening, is really the big key. You just keep listening and listening to more and more stuff. Eventually you understand, regular adult books and movies and TV shows and audios. And like Sebastian's listening to Tony Robbins, and he speaks really fast. So I don't know if Sebastian, for example, has spoken to lots of Americans or not, but his English was excellent. So whatever he's doing is working. And even if he's listening clearly, he's listening to native speakers. So focus on that. You don't need to have this idea, I have to talk to native speakers only. And if you want to talk to native speakers, there are conversation partner websites out there for free. If someone wants to learn your language, and then you're learning English, and you talk to them for 30 minutes in your language, they talk to you in English. So you can find that. Just get on the web, conversation partner. So there are a lot out there. Okay, so let me go to Milky Way.
Hello.
Hello, Milky Way.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Can you
how
hear
you
me?
doing? I can hear
Yes,
you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing today?
I'm very great. I'm fine. I'm enjoying English. This is the main point, and this is I can say that the big thing that you taught us in your system, that enjoying English. I am enjoying English every day. Readings, reading some good books in English, using some websites like VOA Special English, American English, talking with some partner in on the internet, enjoying English. This is the way to learn, to improve your English. Not using textbooks, that boring textbooks, and those boring videos, and focusing on learning vocabularies and it. And that's a big thing that you taught that, as when I try to remember now, when I started your system before two years ago, I was the old way, that old way, using some website like BBC Learning English. It's difficult for us, and I was nothing in English. I was zero. You won't believe if I told you about my story. You won't believe it, because when I started your system, I just understood something like 30% of your words, not all of them, and then I just continue in my way. I believe I have a belief. I had a belief in your words, in your ideas, even though I didn't understand it 100%. But now, after 2 years, look where I am. Some people like you, they said to me that I'm talking like native English speaker, like people from U.S. or Canada. So this is the main idea that I earn it from you, that enjoying English. And anyone have a doubt about your system, I just encourage them to give it a try. Don't try to just do subscribe in the 7 rules. Do some research and some search in YouTube. Try to know, to listen to AJ, and because sometimes some people maybe they will have a doubt about your system. And also I'm very excited about your micro course.
Oh yeah, I'll send an email next week about that.
I really wish if that course will be like your commentaries, especially in your business course, old business course, because that those commentaries were very, very, I really, I didn't get bored of them, I just listened to them a lot, every day, maybe sometimes. I listen to every night. I can say some of those commentary. Like, let me check here. I have a folder here.
These are about my stories of living in my van and all that thing.
Yeah, all those old stories. But it's really, really, useful and teach us, how to live simply, and that's the way to get your success in your business. Not having a lot of money or dreaming about that is not that's not, as it's not a good way.
Right. No, yeah.
So I'm just really excited and very interested about your next macro course. I know that it will be about English and not about business, but I hope it will be like that. I think that when you record uh, those old commentaries, maybe I think you were in San Francisco in your apartment.
Yes.
And I think maybe in the night, and you did it in the night. So I think you were very calm that day, very relaxed. So I hope now in Japan, Kyoto, I think you will be also in the same situation to give us something new about your experience about teaching English and learning English, and especially about enjoying English. That's a very important point, I think.
Well, thank you so much. Wow, always great talking to you.
Thank you so much, and I'm very happy that you are about your activity, in Twitter. So I hope to
thanks
keep
for
going.
keep teaching me.
No, thank you so much. I'm very honored to learn of you, and you are a very, very good one, I think. And God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again later this month, I think.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, great. Milky Way is one of our really fantastic VIP members. VIP, he reminded me of several things. One thing is that I started thinking about this name, VIP. See, I made the program. Of course, VIP means very important person. So for me, I thought, this sounds like a nice name because it says that everyone in the program is important to me and hopefully important to themselves. And many people, they like the name. But then I found out that, especially in Europe, I guess, that in many European countries, this word, this initials VIP, actually has kind of a negative feeling. That they think VIP, in Europe, in European countries, this is used for people maybe who are just kind of rich and they're not so friendly, and so that's not good. It's kind of negative. So they didn't like it, some of the Europeans. So I told them this whole thing. Well, look, it means everyone's important. It doesn't mean you're better than everyone else. It doesn't mean you're rich. And they were okay. So we kept the name. But recently I started thinking, what could we, instead of very important person, let's think of something different for the V and the I and the P. So I was trying to think of a different way to describe the VIP program. So I was thinking of like valuable or and I just decided that I'm going to keep the name, but I'm going to find and use different abbreviations for VIP. Maybe that it could mean valuable or inspirational or inspire. The P could be persistence, or it could be power, or something like that. So I'm playing around with different ones. So we can kind of, it's called reframing. We can kind of change the name and kind of change the meaning of this word VIP for ourselves. Anyway, and, Milky Way talked about a lot of things, but I think one interesting thing he talked about was this idea of doubt, which causes many of us, all of us really, problems many times. Like, it prevents us from changing sometimes. And he's right. I know many people doubt the effortless English system. Maybe they hear about it, or they watch a video, or they get my emails, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure. They're doubting. This is strange. He says don't study grammar rules. That's crazy. They doubt. Maybe, will it really work? Maybe he's just some businessman trying to trick us and get our money. I don't know. I know people have all these ideas. I try to give lots of free stuff like this teleseminar, like podcasts, videos. I mean, honestly, you could do it all for free yourself, just listening to podcasts and my videos and the texts I give you, and then also finding other podcasts and audio. I mean, you could get all of your own material all by yourself and not give me any money at all, and the system would still work if you follow it. So it's not just about money. But what happens is that people just doubt. They think, they feel, because it's different, because it sounds so different, totally different than what their teachers have told them all these years, from middle school, high school, university, and then all the other people learning English with them. They're all taught this kind of idea of textbooks, and you need a big teacher above you telling you what to do and testing you, and it's all vocabulary and grammar. That's what's important, and you get all these ideas in your head so deep. And so then when there's a new way, you have these doubts. Oh, I don't know, this is different, and you don't want to try it. And so then sometimes people, they want me to convince them. AJ, convince me. They say, I don't think you're correct, and they try to argue with me. And I basically give the answer that Milky Way basically gave, that I think Charlie would give, Julia, I think that pretty much any of our successful members would give. I just say, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to convince you. All I say is this: just try it. Try it for 6 months and see the results. Be scientific. The true way to be scientific about something is not to trust research that other people say. I can tell you research that supports effortless English, but then I'm sure someone else could find other research that supports a different way. So that's not really scientific. Scientific means really testing it yourself. And this is in anything, in life. Don't just trust what other people say. Try it. Say, okay, you've been using the old ways for years and years, and you're not happy with the results. After 6 years or 10 years, you still can't communicate well in English speaking. That's not a good result. So I just say, look, try effortless English for 6 months or a year or whatever, however long you want to try it, and really follow the system. Right? You can buy my lessons and then not listen to them, and nothing will happen. Okay? They're not magic. You actually have to use them. You have to do it, and you have to do it. I say basically an hour a day. If you can do more, that's even better. So it's not magic. You actually have to use them. But just try it and see results. That's, it's a small risk, really. 6 months is a small risk. The money is really not that much compared to how much money you've probably spent on textbooks and teachers and schools and all that other stuff. So that's all I say. I'm not really arguing with people. Just try it for yourself. Does it give you good results? After 6 months or 1 year, if you're happy with the results, congratulations, keep going. If you're not happy with the results, okay, then try another method. Don't just go back to doing the same old thing. Try something else. Try something else. Find what works for you. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, let me remind you again now, if you're on Skype and you want to ask a question or talk to me, you have to first click your keypad, the number pad, so you can see the numbers. Then you have to press star, just the asterisk, little asterisk star, and the number 2, star 2. Star 2 will show me that you want to ask a question or make a comment. And if you feel nervous, if you don't want to do it, it's okay. It's fine to just listen. That's okay too. Well, but if you feel a little nervous, it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. Just ask me a question anyway. So *2, I believe. Let me make sure I'm giving you the right instructions. I don't actually do this myself. Okay, it raises or lowers your hand. Yeah, *2. So if you do it twice, then it'll disappear. Okay, so let's go to Palwan, I believe. 1 second. It's showing. Yes, Palwan, and I'm not sure location. I'm not sure. Palwan, hello.
Hello, ajhoge.
Hey, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so how are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Okay, first, I'm fine, and first of all, let me tell you, I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you. Are you in India? Where are you calling from?
No, I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay, great.
Yeah, and that was my dream to talk with you, and it's fulfilled today.
Yay!
Yeah. So, I just want to tell you, you completely changed my methodology about the English grammar and English speaking. Because before following you, I just read textbooks and following English grammar. But after watching your video, after following you, I left that my English grammar books and throw those and just following you and your methods and your teachings like that.
Wow, it's working. You're speaking
Yeah,
very well.
it's really working because before following you, I couldn't be able to speak. I wasn't be able to speak.
Wow. Wow, fantastic. Good job.
Thank you, and that is because of you.
Well, thank you. I'm sure you did a lot of work too, listening and so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, sometimes I feel bored while listening, but I boost up my confidence and listen again and again and again and finish. I keep on listening that.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah. So, sorry, I forgot my questions because suddenly my one of my friend posted on Facebook your about this conference. I quickly joined there, so I'm excited as well as nervous, and I don't know what should I speak or what not.
Oh, no worries. It was just great talking to you, and you know I'll do this again sometime. We can talk again, so no worries.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I appreciate you talking about your success story. It really it makes me excited to hear your story and makes me want to do more also. So thank you.
thank you, sir. And sir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, here, go ahead.
Okay. Did you study English grammar in your initial stage, in your initial teaching?
Did I study it? You mean when I was learning to teach English?
Yes.
Or you mean when I was like a kid in high school or university?
Both. When you were in a school, little kid, and when you started your English teaching.
I think the first time I remember studying any grammar was in high school. Maybe in middle school they did a little bit. You know, it was all for writing. Certainly never studied it when I was young. You know, and I just remember ignoring. It was confusing to me. It confused me. All these, different kinds of phrases and clauses and all this stuff, and I got good grades, but I found it even as a native speaker useless. And it was the same for most people. So we studied it in writing class. It never helped. If you ask most Americans or even British people or Canadians, if you start asking them grammar questions, they won't know.
Yeah.
You ask them what is the past perfect progressive? Ask that to the average native speaker. They don't know. I don't know. They won't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, correct. Because I asked some of my friends who are related with America and UK, and they didn't know about the English grammar enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they learnt naturally without any English book and without any stress. So I think the natural way is the best way to learn.
Yeah, it's much like playing a sport or something. If you're going to play, riding a bicycle is a good example. Are you going to study about physics, or you just get on the bike and learn to ride it? And that's what you do, right? You don't need to know physics. You just need to ride the bike.
Yeah, correct. And sir, I want to be a teacher like you, so please can you give me an advice? How should I improve my English speaking
Teaching?
or anything? Yeah,
Well,
teaching.
your speaking is great. So I would say for teaching, I usually the first thing I tell people, who are teachers, I recommend Blaine Ray. It's his it's Blaine Ray TPRS. Let me put it on Twitter. Uh, he's a great teacher. I learned from him many things.
Mm-hmm.
So Blaine, his first name is Blaine. That's his first name, Blaine. His second family name is Ray, Ray.
Okay, Blaine
And then
Ray.
Blaine Ray. And then his website is Blaine Ray, and then it's TPRS.
Okay, okay.
TPRS.com. He's the one who really created this storytelling method, which I use. I do it in my own way, but he created it, and he's originally a Spanish teacher in America, but he's a great teacher. Get his book. It's called what is it called? It's a green book. TPRS for fluency. I can't remember, but it's his main book. That's a great book to kind of learn the technique as a teacher.
Okay, because in my country where I learned English grammar and English speaking, they just focus on English grammar instead of teaching naturally. So I am completely suck of that, and I don't want to teach other person about just English grammar. I want to teach them naturally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had the same problem,
but
that's why I started my own business.
but you have a plus point. You are native English speaker.
That's true.
Yeah.
It gives me a little bit of an advantage. Okay, here we go. His book is actually called Fluency Through TPR Storytelling, and I'm putting it on Twitter just in case here. By Blaine Ray. And I put the link on Twitter too, so there you go. Good luck to you. That's great. I think we need more teachers teaching in a good way that makes our students get good results and also feel good. They're both important. So, congratulations to you, and also good luck as a teacher.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to giving me this chance to talk with you, and I think you made my day today. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, sir.
Okay, great. So, oh, wow, that was a really nice conversation, too. You're all so nice. It's so fun. It's wonderful. This is actually, I joke about this, but it is true that I think if you're listening, that you can probably see already from the people who are already talking that I don't know why, but people who come to Effortless English, they're just very friendly, nice, warm, positive people. I'm really happy as a teacher, as a coach, that I have such a great group. I think a lot of teachers would be jealous of me. Maybe some other teachers, they have students who are not so nice, not so friendly, and their job is a lot more difficult. So I really feel good about this. And of course we do. We as a company, Effortless English, we actually work very hard to attract nice, positive people and keep them. And if occasionally we get someone who's not so nice, we ask them to leave because our community is important. So we protect our community. We're quite strong about it, in fact. And so what's great is now it's becoming kind of automatic that we're just getting people who just are friendly and nice and supportive and understanding, even people from many countries and religions and ages and everything. So it's really nice. And that's part of my mission too. Is this international community? So great that's happening. The other thing I want to comment about that Pawan was talking about is just is the education system, and it's hard to do. I know a lot of people who are teachers, and I criticize the teaching system a lot, and I believe everything I say about the teaching system is horrible in most countries. But I know that each individual teacher is not a bad person. It's just they're in a system that is bad, and most of them are afraid to fight it, or they just can't fight it. I mean, I eventually left it and created my own so that I could do what I wanted to do I wanted to teach my own way. I wanted to get better results for you. To do that, I had to leave. I had to leave the school system because in the school system I was always fighting it. Usually I tried to be quiet and do things differently, but eventually my bosses would hear I was doing strange things, different things, not following the grammar books, and then I would have problems with my bosses, and eventually I would leave my job, and then I would start somewhere else, and then the same thing would happen again, And when you're a teacher in a system like that, you're always in this situation. And so I encourage people to be independent, even to be tutors, just to teach in your house, teach people in your house. There you have freedom. You can teach totally how you want, even just part-time. You could do it, teach in your house. So if teaching is something you want to do, if you need a job, then get a job and do what you need to do, sure. But you can also try to teach in your house, teach in a coffee shop, something like that, and kind of do your own way also. And an important part of that, with the teaching, and this is so important, is learning should be enjoyable. I don't understand why teachers think this is a crazy idea. I talk about this, that it should be super fun, and you say this to some teachers, and they think, oh, it's not just about fun. Everything can't be fun. And they're all serious. But the truth is, learning is fun. When you're really learning, it is an enjoyable process. If you're learning something you truly care about, it's fun. If you love computers and you're learning programming, you enjoy it. My friend Joe, one of the teachers of Learn Real English, he loves computers. He loves programming. He's not doing it now, but he even misses it. He when he talks about it, clearly he likes it. He loves learning it. He loves doing it. And this is what learning is like. When you watch children, when they're actually they're exploring and they're learning naturally, and there's not some adult forcing them to do it. They're just doing it. They love it. It's an enjoyable thing. It's something your brain really loves. Schools work very hard to make it boring and difficult and horrible. For example, just sitting on your butt in a chair for an hour or 2 hours or 6 hours in a day. That's very unnatural. It's horrible. At our live events, people don't just sit in a chair. Depending on how young or old the group is, I get my classes dancing and jumping every 30 minutes at least, maybe sometimes even less than that. We jump around and have dance contests. We do air guitar contests. We play loud music. We run around. Lots of things to make it fun and active and energetic, and so that it's a fun process. It should be fun. All right, so again, star two, if you want to ask a question. I think we're almost done. Almost time for me to go to bed. It's almost midnight in Japan, where I am. So almost bedtime for AJ. So let's take a look at the text questions, see if I have any more. Okay, Sonia says, oh, excited to talk to you. Just feeling all the time your lessons, essence, which already are going to change my life. Yes, it will change your life. Use the ideas in the lessons. That's the secret of Power English and the secret of the VIP program, which is not really very secret. And that is, I'm trying to teach you things to change your life. Right? Yes, I want you to succeed with English, but my deeper purpose is for you to succeed in all parts of your life. My deeper purpose is that you live your dreams, whatever it is, whatever dream life you have in your mind that would make you super happy, that is best for you. I want you to live that life. I'm using English as a way to help you improve your language, but also to make bigger changes in your life. That's my little secret mission. Esko from Serbia was saying, can you speak more about energy and psychology? Where can I find authors and material? Okay, yeah. So, Tony Robbins is my favorite, probably. So if you're interested in psychology and success and energy and all that, I highly recommend Tony Robbins. Now, here's the problem. Tony Robbins speaks extremely fast, very, very fast. I know a lot of English learners have trouble understanding him. So, in fact, one of my little goals is I really, in fact, when Sebastian said this, I was so happy because one of my goals actually is to help you improve your English enough so you can understand Tony Robbins. And other people like him, so that you can then, as you continue learning English, you can start learning from all these masters they're not English teachers, but they have so many great ideas that can change your life, and I want to help you so you can understand them. My dream would be you could go to a Tony Robbins event and understand everything he said, right? But I know that takes time, and he's a very fast speaker. He uses special kind of vocabulary. Doing my best to help you achieve that level. So, but I do usually recommend Tony Robbins first. He's my favorite, but there are many others. Robert Kiyosaki about money. I don't know. Harv Eker is a good money one. Business person. Brendan Burchard. There's so many. But those, start with those. Okay, Sonia, so press star 2 if you want to talk to me. Isa says, you shape my personality. I love you. Thank you. Mwah, to you too. So, Isa from Amman, Jordan, I believe. So she can't connect the Skype. Please say hi to me. I'm saying hi to you. She says, I appreciate your time. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you very much, Isa. And hello to Jordan. And, oh, we got so many. Oh, Lord. Let's take a look. Wow. Okay, really quickly. We have someone from Iran. Who said that got a PhD in Germany and that Effortless English helped him or her. I'm not sure. But congratulations to you. It's Mada. Mada. Thank you, Mada. Sonia from Dhaka. I wanted to try to call. Let me see if anyone else is. Oh, yeah, we do have some people raising their hands. Let's see. One more person. One more. This will be the last person from Korea. Kimpo and Yonggi-do. Gamini, hello. Oh, just disappeared. What happened? Gamini? Hello, Gamini, are you there?
Hello, yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm not from Korea, but actually I'm from Sri Lanka.
Oh,
but,
are you living in Korea?
But now I'm in Korea because I've been working in Korea in 2009.
Ah.
So, but I'm Sri Lankan.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
So, no, it's okay. But in 1.5 year, I'm going to Sri Lanka again. So after completing my, because I have 5 years visa in here.
Ah, I see. Oh, well, you'll be happy to go home soon, huh?
Yeah. So actually, I just want to tell you something about your program. Because in Sri Lanka also, in preschool, the old people in preschool, they are learning English, but when they become elderly, but I think a few of them can speak English. So I think the system is you are right. We all have followed the traditional system. So I also follow those systems. I always try to learn grammar. So I can read well. Sometimes I can understand what people talk when people talk about something in English. I can understand, but I can't speak. When I'm going to speak, I try to. I think, is it correct? Is it grammatically correct, or is it past tense or present tense, like that? So when I found your system, I think I changed everything. So I feel now very different, something completely new now. So I think it's helpful me. I mean, your English program is not the way to people to learn English, but also the people to think to change their life. I mean, to change their life to success. So I think it's very helpful, and it is the right way to learn English, and it's the right way to think people to success.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's great.
So thank you very much to give me a chance to talk to you with you, and this is not it's not very long time to I follow your course, because I bought them in 2 months ago. So I have to learn more lessons.
Okay.
I hope to this is a request. I hope to do another teleseminar in future too.
Oh yes, we'll do more. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good talking to you. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Or good night, actually. Yeah. Bye bye. Okay. So Kamini, I thought here's a good point. Okay. So he's saying that in Sri Lanka, children in preschool, that's about 4 years old, they start learning English in preschool at age 4. They continue learning English all through school, till they're 18. That's 14 years. If they go to university, then I'm assuming 4 more. And yet, he said, by the time they, die, when they get old, most of them still do not speak English. I mean, isn't this a problem? It just seems so obvious that there is a big problem with the old traditional way. I mean, 14 years starting when they're young and they still can't speak. And why? They're focusing on grammar rules and vocabulary lists and all the parts of the language. It's just crazy to me. I mean, if you're getting a terrible result, why continue doing the same thing? I'm not saying they must use effortless English, but I do think they should do something different. If the results are terrible, then try something else. And this is what I say to individuals too, to people, what I was talking about before. They ask me questions, why should I do effortless English? You're supposed to do grammar. I just say the same thing. I said, obviously, the old way is not working for most people. Yeah, a few people will learn to speak with the old way, but it's slow and painful, and for most people, it doesn't work. It never works. So if the result is terrible you're getting now with the bad way, the current way, the traditional way, whatever, then it just seems logical, rational, intelligent to try something different. Yeah, of course, I think you should try effortless English because, a lot of people have gotten great results with it. But if you don't try effortless English, then try something else, another method. But do something different. That's the main point I have for most people. But maybe I'll give you an idiom right now. Okay, preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir right now. What does that mean? It means I'm talking to people. I'm trying to convince people who are already convinced. It comes from, in the United States, people in a church, right? So let's say there's the minister, the church leader. He's talking to everybody. And then you have the choir. They're the singers in the church, right? They're the people who sing the songs. Well, usually the choir, those people, they are already very religious, right? They already believe in that religion. So if the leader, the minister, if he's preaching to them, preaching means trying to convince them to believe what he says. Well, he doesn't need to. They already believe, right? So he's just talking to them, saying, you should believe in God. You should believe in this church. But they already believe it. They're in the church. They're part of the choir. They already believe very strongly. He's preaching to the choir, right? So we use this anytime we're trying to persuade people who already believe. So maybe I'm doing that right now. Maybe if you're listening to this, you already believe me in effortless English. I don't need to really convince you. Preaching to the choir. There you go. You learned a free idiom today. All right. Well, I think that's going to be the end for now. It's been a little over 2 hours, so that's been nice. And it's past midnight here in Japan, where I am now. So I'm going to go to bed. I will see you all. I'll see you on Twitter, mostly now. Certainly join my email course. That's the main thing. Join the email course because that's where I really teach all of the system, the 7 rules. That's where if I make a new video or something, I send an email to everybody to tell them I made it. When you get the emails, yes, I will try to sell you my lessons. It's part of our business. You can ignore that if you want to, or buy the lessons. Certainly buy the lessons. But you also get lots of free stuff too, and plenty of information about following it. And when I do new things, I always send emails. So that's a good way, the best way to learn everything about Effortless English. Now, if you want to just connect with me more socially, ask questions sometimes, follow what I'm doing, and also get some information about English, then Twitter is the best place. I'm most active on Twitter. We have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/effortlessenglish, facebook.com/effortlessenglish. So you can join on Facebook. I post on Facebook and comment some on Facebook, but Twitter is where I'm most active. I like it because it's more like a simple, short conversation. It's easy for me to answer questions, and so my Twitter is just my name, ajhoge, ajhoge, ajhoge. So that's where you can follow. I follow what I'm doing and ask questions or make comments or whatever you want. So join the email course. That's effortlessenglishclub.com, and then click newsletter, email newsletter. So go to effortlessenglishclub.com and then click the newsletter at the top. That's how you get the emails. Join with the emails. And my Twitter is ajhoge. All right. Well, I enjoyed talking to everyone tonight. I hope you enjoyed listening. We recorded this, so I'll put a link to the recording. So if you know friends or other people that might be interested, they can listen to this also. So you can also download it yourself if you want to listen to this again, just to practice your listening. I'll give you the link, and you can download the MP3. You can listen to this again and again if you want to, and use it for listening practice. So thank you, everyone, so much. Have a great day, a great night. I don't know what time it is where you are. I love you all. It's so great to talk to you. And I'll do this again. Certainly with my VIP members, we're talking again soon. The Business English members also, we're talking this month. But also just for everybody, I'll do a free